Hey sis, long time no see. How many years has it been since you left home now?
Oh, I think I'm about to Oh, hi, Dana.
What's the attitude about all that? Still think you're hot stuff, do you? I'll be telling mom and dad about this.
The old run and tell your parents despite being a grown-ass woman trick. How I haven't missed you.
Oh, what's that? Are you scared? You know you'd be in heaps of trouble if I told mom and dad you were being horrible to me.
You act like you just revealed the mother of all trump cards, but you do realize I left home nearly 10 years ago now, right? Your threats have no power over me.
Huh?
Sure. Back then, I was a naive little kid with no life experience, and I was genuinely struggling with living on my own. The only reason your threats worked with me back then was because I was terrified by the prospect of having to make it completely on my own after mom and dad kicked me out. But luckily, I found a job the week before, which gave me a means of supporting myself. So I vowed to make it on my own without having to rely on my family in the slightest. 10 years down the line, I'm financially independent and happier than I've ever been. You do well to remember I'm not the same vulnerable little girl as I was 10 years ago.
Wow, you're so impressive, Rachel. Would you like a medal? Wait a second. When you say you're financially independent, no way! I'm actually surprised.
Why?
Isn't it obvious? How could a stay-at-home housewife be financially independent? That's not how it works.
Huh? Since when was I a stay-at-home housewife?
It's actually hilarious that you're claiming to be independent when you rely totally on your husband's salary to live. You literally wouldn't have food on the table if not for him. Start making sense, woman. You're cracking me up too much here.
Dana, what are you saying? Are you sure you're not making some kind of misunderstanding?
Huh?
You think I'm a stay-at-home housewife? Husband? Married? Wait, what? You think I'm married?
Well, you aren't?
No, I'm very much not. I can forgive you for misunderstanding since we haven't seen each other in over 10 years, but I'm single.
Whatever, you don't have to try and show off, sis. It really is pathetic how transparent you are. You're wasting your time, because I have incontrovertible proof that you're indeed married.
Huh? Proof?
I'm a little late coming out with this, because you distracted me. But now, on to the season I messaged you in the first place without further ado.
Damn, you mean you're not done yet? Lord, give me strength. I want to sleep soon, so make it quick, okay?
Then listen and listen good. Now you might want to sit down for this, but you see how it is? I'm pregnant with your husband's baby.
Huh? You're pregnant? With whose kid?
Your husband's, like I said.
But I just told you I'm single, so how is that possible? How can you be pregnant with my husband's kid if he doesn't exist? You're making some kind of mistake here, or maybe you're on drugs?
Drugs? How dare you? I most definitely am not. I'm pregnant, so the proof is right here in my belly.
Maybe you are pregnant, but that doesn't answer my question. Let me ask you once more, how is it possible that you're pregnant with my husband's kid when my husband doesn't exist? I'm single. S-I-N-G-L-E.
And like I told you, your husband's baby is in my belly. B-E-L-L-Y. Do you understand yet? Ugh, you're so dense.
I'm asking you because I don't understand. At the current point in time, I am husbandless. That means he doesn't exist. Which means I'm single, and that you, my darling, are crazy if you don't give up on whatever this is. I am S-I-N-G-L-E. Even if you are pregnant, which I don't doubt, your nickname did used to be the Village Bike after all, it's not my husband's.
Ugh, good grief. You just do not know when to give up, do you? I understand your heart must be full of negative emotions like frustration, rage, and jealousy right now to see your more beautiful little sister doing so well in life. But you need to be careful not to upset me. I have a little one to think about now, and stress is bad for the baby.
Believe me, there isn't an ounce of frustration, rage, or jealousy towards my imaginary husband's kid in my whole body. I'm just annoyed because I feel like I'm talking to a brick wall. Okay, let's hear it. What's my husband's name?
You actually want me to say it? What a masochist. I guess I'll say it if you really want me to. Your husband's name is Toby.
Toby?
Why would you want to hear me say his name though? Isn't this painful for you? This isn't healthy, sis. So why don't you just stop before you get hurt again?
I'm not hurt, just indescribably confused. Who's Toby?
Huh?
If I recognized the name, I thought I might be able to ask my friends if they knew anything, but I've literally never met anyone called Toby in my entire life.
Huh?
I have no idea what kind of mammoth misunderstanding you're in the grips of here, but I strongly recommend you reinvestigate the identity of the father of your child. Goodbye.
Well, would you look at that? Turns out it was your husband after all. Why did you lie?
Excuse me?
It was Toby. I knew it.
How many times do I have to tell you I don't have a husband?
I hung around outside his house for a little while today because what you said had me so confused, and lo and behold, you come walking out.
Huh?
Which got me thinking, why would you be so desperate to deny it, to the point of telling barefaced lies and claiming you were single? And it finally dawned on me, I think I get it now, because you can't bring yourself to move out of this huge luxury 5-bedroom house after working so hard to move in there with him.
Huh? Luxury 5-bedroom house? I didn't think it was possible, but I'm even more lost than before.
I hate to break this to you, Rachel, but I'm pregnant with your man's baby, which means I'm gonna be moving in so we can live together as a family, which means I'm so sorry, but you've gotta go. So if you don't mind, I need you to accept your fate, accept that your more beautiful sister won, and get out of my house.
But...
The jig is up. You can't bend and distort the truth anymore, cause I outsmarted you. I bet you didn't expect me to wait outside his house, did you? I'm a genius. Boom! Divorce him, pack your things, and leave.
For the millionth time, I'm single.
Seriously, are you still playing this game? Even though my clever investigate efforts expose the truth to the light of the day? You know it's a waste of time, Rachel. Why are you doing this? You, seriously, do not know when to give up.
Well, I think you're right when you say the truth has been exposed to the light of day.
And so you admit it then?
I admit nothing.
Huh?
Hey, can you do me a favor? Would you mind putting your lunatic crusade against me on hold for a little while? I need to check something.
Huh? Check something? What is it?
Dana, I finally know who this Toby guy you're convinced is my husband is.
Huh?
I had a sneaking suspicion this might be the case, so I did a few checks. Can you just confirm something for me? That house that you think you saw me coming out of, was it the one recently got built on Apple Lane behind the highway?
Aha, that's right. So you knew exactly what I was talking about all along. Why even bother playing dumb? I get that when you preserve what little of your pride and dignity you have left, but this really would have been easier for everyone if you just admitted it straight away. How tragic! I could already be living my dream life of luxury and glamour as Toby's stay-at-home housewife, barefoot and pregnant in his kitchen, if not for your stubbornness.
It's true, I did have a vague idea of what you might be talking about. But I have a duty of confidentiality that limits what I'm able to discuss due to my job. I am, however, willing to have this discussion within the range of what I just got permission from the boss on. Now, the key point here is that the married couple living in that house have both long been retired.
Huh? Then Toby must be their son.
Wrong. Their only son lives abroad and hasn't been home in a year.
What?
The only reason I go there a couple times a week is for my job as a visiting carer.
Huh? Your job?
That's right. I work for a company that provides care services to the elderly.
Wait a second. This can't be. If what you say is true, then who the hell's kid am I carrying?
Apparently, this Toby you keep mentioning is their personal driver, who also happens to be living on their sofa after falling on hard times.
Their driver?
I've never really spoken to him beyond the basic pleasantries, so I didn't realize who you meant until I stopped and thought about it for a while. Every time you meet him, he has you climb through a window, right? Did you never think that was strange?
No, he told me all the doors were broken. Plus, I thought it would be better that way, since we could get in trouble if you found out what we were doing. I didn't mind climbing through a window if it meant we could be together.
The obvious explanation to anyone with a brain being that he was sneaking you into somewhere you weren't supposed to be, because it wasn't his house.
Seriously? Rachel, what do I do? What do I do? Toby's real wife just sent me a horrible letter demanding compensation.
Huh? Ah, I see. What was it again? He had to move out for a while because their house got flooded, right? There was no more room at her parents' place, so Toby moved in with the Jeffersons. Which is when you got your claws into him and you had your affair.
I had no idea he had a wife.
That's interesting. I got a different impression back when you were bragging about being pregnant with my husband's baby. Not only that, but they had kids, didn't they? Damn it, Dana, what have you done?
If he's not your husband, I don't want him.
Huh?
I only stole him because I thought he was your husband. He's useless to me now. I thought it was so unfair that you got to live in that huge house with him. There was no way I was gonna let you carry on getting away with it. But if he's not your husband, I'm not interested. He's welcome to his wife. I don't care.
Dana, I think it might be a little late for that.
Huh?
I spoke to Mr. Jefferson, the actual owner of the house, who's finally aware of everything that's been going on under his roof now. You announced the pregnancy to Toby at the same time you handed over a signed set of engagement papers and declared your undying love for him, right? This all happened the day after his divorce with his ex-wife was finalized. Of course, because why waste time? Anyways, Mr. Jefferson said he was so ecstatic, he took the marriage papers down to the local office straight away with a smile on his face and a spring in his step.
No way!
Mr. Jefferson also fired Toby as their personal driver as soon as he found out what he'd been doing.
Fired? Why?
Because he betrayed their kindness by sneaking his mistress in through their window to have a sordid affair in the room they invited him to stay in because they felt sorry for him. Mr. Jefferson might be kind, but he doesn't tolerate disrespect. And to be honest, Toby is lucky. He's also ex-military, and his wife tells me he was known to get violent with people back in the day. Oh, and by the way, obviously it wasn't my fault, but the company understood that continuing to work there could be difficult for me, knowing that one half of the disgraced couple was my little sister. So after lengthy talks between me, my boss, and the Jeffersons, out of consideration for me, it was decided that I wouldn't be their designated carer anymore and would go somewhere else.
Oh my!
The result being that I'm now responsible for looking after one of Mr. Jefferson's old friends, who, funnily enough, just so happened to be considering hiring a carer. The company are happy because they gained a handsomely paying new customer, and I get to carry on with my job as a visiting carer in the same capacity as before, with a little change of scenery.
This can't be happening. Are you telling me that despite the fact I'm pregnant with some unemployed homeless guy's kid and we're even about to get married, you benefited in some way? I don't understand how you have. But that's what it sounds like, and it's not fair. Not fair!
Are you serious? You don't have a leg to stand on here. None of this would be happening if you hadn't stolen my imaginary husband. Mistaking Toby for the owner of the house, mistaking me for Toby's wife, it could have all been prevented if you'd just done your research properly before charging in with your legs wide open, or at the very least, asking me first. I would have just told you, you know?
But if I'd asked you, there was a chance you might figure out my plan to steal your husband.
That's why your life's at rock bottom. And that's why there's no light at the end of this tunnel. Are you at least self-aware enough to understand you dug your own grave?
No, I can still fix this. I know. I'll give Toby to you.
Huh? You couldn't possibly mean. You want me and Toby to get married and raise the kid currently growing inside your belly together? You couldn't possibly mean that, could you?
That's right. Phew! I'm so glad you understand. Thank you, sis. I was starting to worry there. Okay, well now, you just have to charm him. You can do that, right?
That's definitely not going to happen.
What? Why not? You have a right to protect me. I'm your little sister. That's what sisters do. You should be looking out for me. The only reason you exist in the first place is to help me when I'm in trouble. What's the point in you being around otherwise?
I got married 3 days ago.
Huh?
Me and my boyfriend, a colleague from work who I've been dating for 5 years, went 3 days ago to hand in the marriage registration papers together.
What the hell? You had a boyfriend the whole time?
Yep.
But that means you lied. You said you were single. What am I supposed to do now about my marriage to Toby?
You're the one who married him in the first place, so you could, I don't know, get out of your own mess? None of this has anything to do with me.
But don't you feel bad for me? This is awful. I'm a victim here.
In a sense, you are. A victim of yourself. If you want a divorce, then tell him you want a divorce. It's really that simple. The kid you're pregnant with, too? Decide what you're gonna do between yourselves. It's time you stop trying to run away from the consequences of your action and faced reality, Dana.
Why won't you help me?
Do I really have to spell it out?
How am I supposed to know if you don't tell me?
Okay, have it your way. Because it's not my problem. It's your mess, and it's up to you to get out of it.
Huh?
Stop trying to pin the blame for your crazy, selfish behavior on other people, and stop trying to escape responsibility for once in your life. Wipe your own ass.
Oh my god.
Goodbye.
No, wait. Don't go. Please, Rachel, I'm begging you.
Later on. You might be wondering what our parents were doing while all this was going on. Apparently, my sister had told them that she'd stolen my rich husband. I don't know what came over them, but they were so excited that they spent a huge chunk of their pension on a celebratory party, thinking Dana would be able to cover it with her new husband's money before long. They started seriously panicking when they realized she'd made a huge misunderstanding the whole time and would never see that money again. By the time Dana and Toby went to take refuge at their place, they were already gone. Why? Because by then, they were knocking on the door of Toby's parents' house. Toby's parents were overjoyed by the news that they'd be getting a grandson, but they were disgusted with their son for having an affair and vowed to instill some morals in him by any means necessary. Last I heard, his dad had him up at 5 a.m. every morning to undergo a rigorous moral education. Apparently, he also works 3 separate jobs now because he's so overwhelmed with debt due to all the compensation he owes his ex-wife, and after being abandoned by all his friends, has no one to turn to. After sending me one last demoralized message, my disgraced younger sister completely vanished, and I never heard from her again. It never should have come to this. My life was meant for the better.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.